Are on a certain KL Rahul, who is making a comeback to the Indian squad after a long injury layoff. He was last seen in the IPL and he's been named in the Asia Cup, but then after the announcement of his inclusion was made, then came this news about him having another niggle of sorts during this camp that's been on. The first day, as we all know, was all about the fitness regimes of players. In fact, it was more about strengthening and working on fitness. You saw Virat Kohli post his score, his yo-yo test score, and on the second day you saw actual action, let's say, take place as well, wherein both the batters and bowlers were in the mix. And of course, there was KL Rahul as well, who was seen in action today on day 2 of this Allur national camp. Now, what exactly happened with regards to KL Rahul? What we've managed to gather through sources is that the man did spend some time in the middle. In fact, he spent just about an hour over there. What we're going to do over the next couple of minutes is tell you what exactly that 1 hour that he batted for KL Rahul, what exactly that session for him was, and of course, what was the other activities, what were the other activities in which he was involved on the day today. So let's quickly now tell you what exactly KL Rahul's day at the national camp looked like. Now, once he was there, once he was in the thick of things, KL Rahul's first thing was a fitness regime of sorts, was a fitness session which we saw him take part in. Now, what was this fitness session all about? It, for starters, was about placing a few cones and him doing the rounds, not just of the field, but then be running between those cones as well, just trying to run through his paces to begin with. And this was happening while on the sidelines you had the likes of Virat Kohli, Shubman Gill, Rohit Sharma, basically the Indian top order. While they were batting, he was going through some fitness drills. KL Rahul, along with him, were of course members of the NCA, were also officials of the BCCI who were helping him out with his fitness session that was to take place. So he spent some good time as far as just running through his spaces is concerned, after which came the batting session, and that's what we're going to be now talking about. But this was key for KL Rahul, because we know after those reports came of him going through a niggle, some key focus and attention was given to KL Rahul's fitness drills that were kept today. So while the others were very quick in terms of doing their fitness drills and then getting on with the action, KL Rahul spent an extensive amount of time today in the fitness session that was specially designed for him. But after he was done with all of that and the Indian top order were batting, in fact, another peculiar thing about today's session was that the batters batted in the particular order. They firstly batted in pairs. So you first had the opening pair, let's say, of Rohit Sharma and Shubman Gill bat, after which you saw KL Rahul also go there and bat. So the batters went in as far as in accordance with their batting order, and then of course you saw KL Rahul, who, like we all know, will be batting at that crucial number 5 spot. He then came into bat after the others were done batting, those who bat before him. Now let's tell you the finer details about what his batting session on the day looked like. Now, to begin with, he faced both spinners and pacers. The two pacers that he faced at large were Shardul Thakur and Akashdeep. Akashdeep, just to jog your memory, is the speedster who plays for the RCB. He was seen in action in this year's IPL as well. And Shardul Thakur, of course, we know as far as what he has to offer with the ball. In fact, the interesting bit, yes, KL Rahul did look rusty to begin with. When you ask how he really looked in the session, to tell you how exactly his first ball, we also got to know how exactly that first ball went for him. So it was Shardul Thakur who was bowling to KL Rahul. His first, the first the first ball that he faced, in fact, was not quite to his liking, as per his liking. Yeah, he got an outside edge, a thickish outside edge, which went somewhere close to third man. So that was the first ball for KL Rahul. But then after that, since he did spend, like we mentioned over here for you, he batted for roughly about an hour. But as that session sort of wore on, KL Rahul was seen getting into his stride, was seen middling the ball, and in particular he was seen whipping the ball, and he whipped Shardul Thakur a couple of times close to the long on region. That's where he played a couple of balls. Akashdeep was the other pacer he faced. As far as the spinners are concerned, he faced Akshar Patel and Mayank Parkande, one being a wrist spinner, the other being a finger spinner. One of the other peculiarities to be picked as far as this whole day is concerned, there was a lot of emphasis not just for KL Rahul but for the others as well, other Indian batters, to play wrist spinners. That is one of the things that was closely monitored and worked upon for as far as the Indian batters are concerned. While facing the spinners, though, what was good to see on KL Rahul part was the fact that he was seen sweeping the ball, reverse sweeping the ball, in fact charging down a couple of times as well, which gives you a certain bit of idea as far as his fitness is concerned. But speaking of fitness, remember, he did not do any running between the wickets, so maybe he is still tentative at the moment. That's what you get to understand from this, that he's still a bit tentative, which is why you didn't see him do those extra yards and he wasn't running between the wickets, which is something you see at times happen while a batter is doing his batting sessions. Also, while we speak of all of this, worth noting is the fact that while he was batting KL Rahul, and you do understand that keeping is going to be a make or break deal for KL Rahul. That's what reports have suggested, that if KL Rahul cannot be keeping the wickets, he may not make the cut for the Indian team. But while he was doing his batting practice, there was somebody else who was doing the keeping drills, and that was Ishan Kishan. He was seen doing the keeping drills with the fielding coach. And all of that put together, KL Rahul did spend roughly about an hour facing the Indian bowlers in the nets. Upon his return to practice for the Indian team, remember, he's been included for the Indian team squad for the upcoming Asia Cup, and all eyes are on KL Rahul, because if he's not there, you're looking at a new look middle order altogether for Team India. But interesting times ahead. KL Rahul's recovery will be closely monitored. All eyes continue to be on him. Remember, just 2 days of the 6-day camp, so another 4 days of this camp, and we here at Sports Today, in our endeavor to update you with everything happening, not just in Indian cricket but in other sports as well, will keep you posted with everything happening as far as this national camp in Allur is concerned. So KL Rahul was one of the figures who was watched very closely on day 2, and that's what his batting session today looked like. If you haven't already done so, folks, do subscribe to Sports Today, tap that bell icon as well so that you know when we go live.